Hello and welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to be doing something that I have been dreading because it is boring as fuck. We are going to set up the widget for our Actionbar settings. Now let us go into our Actionbar system. Actually in our systems, yeah, and in our Actionbar systems, in our interface, like so. Inside of here we're going to make a new widget. It's going to be called our WBP Actionbar settings. Open that up and the very first thing we're going to add is a border. And change that to the side, and then we're gonna add another border. The first border should have a brush, a padding of 2 in all. It is gonna have a black brush color, like so. The second border is gonna have a padding of 2 in all on both of these, and it's gonna have an alpha of maybe 0.5. Now we're going to add a size box into that second border. This is not going to be variable or anything. It is going to just have a width and height override of 800 by 600, like so. Could probably make that border a little bit bigger, but it's fine with me. This size box is fine. Now let us add a vertical box into our size box, and everything is fine with that. And inside of our vertical box, we are going to add a horizontal box. This horizontal box is set up just fine as is. So we are not going to fuck around with that. It's not going to be variable or anything. Inside of this one, we are going to add a check box. Now this checkbox, I'm going to align to the left like so. I'm going to start it off as checked, and it's going to be set to visible, so that's okay. We're going to call this one our locked check box. It's going to be variable. Start as checked as we said. Inside our locked checkbox, we are going to add a text. This text is just going to be called our locked checkbox text, and it's just going to be saying locked. I'm going to change it to a regular, and maybe a little bit down to like 18, because I do think I want the header to be 24. It's going to be set to visible. Everything is fine over there. Now we can continue on, and what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this entire thing and paste it, copy paste into this horizontal box, everything under the border, just we don't have to make the border again. The brush color of this border, we are going to make it a little bit like so maybe, and maybe the content of this one can be almost maybe a little bit on the red side, like so. I don't know. You can make this look however you want. It does not matter to me. Then let us duplicate this text and paste it in here. Now this text is going to be our action bar settings header text. I'm not going to make it variable or anything. I am, however, going to make the color. I'm going to do a 0.125 on all of these, I think. Do think I like that a little bit. Could probably go a little bit darker. Yeah, something like that. Let's call it action bar settings. Probably have a space between that. That is our header text. Now let us also add a button into this horizontal. Copy our text again from our locked, and it's going to be my keybinds button. That means that this is my keybinds button text. We're just going to type keybinds like so. Padded 2 and all. Is this one padded 2 and all? Now I want to see if I can stretch these out just a little bit. I could do this in the middle. Actually fill that, and then probably go over to my keybinds button and fill that to the right. Now I can do the same with this border here. I could fill that to the middle. Can I do that? And then if I go to the locked one, I can fill that to the left, and there we go. Now we have our little header, top header. That means we're done with this horizontal box. We are now going to add another horizontal box into our vertical box. We're gonna make it fill, And our inside of this horizontal, we're going to add a vertical. This vertical is going to be aligned to the left and to the middle. If I put this to auto instead, there we go. Now we got a vertical box there. Inside this vertical box, we're going to add some buttons and such. So let us do that. Add a button. Add a text to your button. And it's going to be my bar one button. It's going to be my bar one button text. It's going to say bar one. It's not going to be aligned anywhere. I'm also going to go into the button and remove some padding over on the style. So the padding here on the normal and on the pressed, I'm going to set that to 0. And then let us change the text a little bit. So I do not like the bold, do like the regular, but maybe this one could be a light instead. Now let us continue with the regular. Let's make this font size 16 because I do think we have 18 and 24. I do think this is going to be just fine. Maybe outline this one. Nah, fuck that. So that is our button. Now we do need 6 of these. So duplicate and rename everything accordingly. I'm going to do the first one with you, and then I'm going to skip ahead. So this is going to be my bar 2 button. This is going to be my bar 2 button text. That means that this is going to be called bar 2. Now I'm going to skip ahead. Do we want any spacing between the buttons? I should have thought about that previously. No, I do not feel like we need that. After this vertical box, we can hide that. Now we want to add another vertical box into our horizontal box, like so. This one is going to be fill. It's going to be stretched up there, and it's going to be aligned to the top. In here, we're going to have a text. This text we're going to fill to the middle. And we're going to call it bar 1. Now this is going to be variable. It's going to be called our active bar name text. Do not like bold, so we got to go regular. And I'm going to go down to like 22, just so it's a little bit smaller than the other one. I'm just going to pad this to the top, maybe 10, just to get it away from the header. Inside this vertical box now, I want to add a check mark again, a checkbox. This one is going to be my enabled checkbox. And it's going to be variable, yeah. It's going to be starting off as checked. And I think that's it. And now we can just add a text to that, which is going to be our enabled text. But it's not going to be any variables. It's just going to be called enabled. Change it down to regular. And again, I want to change this a bit down. So this one is 22 now. So let's go down to 20 on this, because this is the subcategory of that one. Now we have our enabled checkbox and our enabled text. Now what we want to do is we want to add a horizontal box. A horizontal box, yeah, in our vertical box. This horizontal box is going to be padded about 20 to the left, so that we don't get too close up to that. I'm going to call this my hor box 1. Not hit testable, is enabled, and now let's fill this out. So I do want a size box first of all. And this is going to be my max slots size box. It is going to be padded. I'm going to do a 50 padding to the left, auto, and then fill like that, yeah. And then we're going to override 256 by 90. And that is our box. Inside of this box, I want to add a vertical box. And this vertical box is going to be my max slots vert box. Everything is fine with it as is, but inside of it, we do want a text. That means that this is my max slots text. That is not how you type that. Max slots text. It is not going to be variable. It is going to say max slots, however. I'm going to go full black. I'm going to go down to a regular, and I do think I actually like that, yeah. Go down to 18 here. And now I can center it like so. I do like the black, yeah. I think I'm going to go for that. After this, we can add a slider into our vertical box. I'm going to call this one my max slots slider. Now my max slot slider is going to be variable, which it is. It's going to start off a value. So our value is going to start at 6. It's going to start at a minimum of 1 and then a maximum of 12. It is a horizontal alignment and the step size is going to be 1. We're also going to expand advanced and say that mouse uses step. Once we have our slider, we can then add another horizontal box into a vert box. We're going to fill this and then align it to the top. Everything else is fine. Now we're going to add texts in here. So I can actually get our max slots text and paste it once in here. And then we're going to, yeah, let's just keep it as is, to be fair. We're going to call this text though our max slots min text. So that means that the minimum is 1 on this one. You can also bind this later so that it reflects the value that you have on your slider, so you don't have to do it manually. I'm not going to do that though. We might do it later. I'm going to make this one variable. No, I'm not going to make it variable. If you wanted to do it like I said, then you want to make it variable so you can manipulate it in there. We might do it later, but not now. Then we're going to duplicate this max slots min text. I'm going to make a max slots current text. Actually, our max slots min should be stretch, shouldn't it? Auto and stretch, yeah. And then our max slots current should be fill. And let's see how it looks when we get to the other one. So our max slots current and then our max slots max text, which is going to be 12. Now if I auto that, there we go. Now we should be basically in the middle. So I've got that to the right, and this should be auto. This should be fill to the middle, and that should be it. This should be 6 though, because that is our current. It is a bit off. You can fix it later with anyhow you want to. Once that is completed, first of all, I am seeing that I want to move my horizontal box a bit down from the top. So maybe like 50. We might move it up later. Actually, let's move to 40. And now I want to duplicate my max slot size box. I'm going to duplicate that. This is now my max horizontal size box. Then I'm going to change all these info. So max hor size box, max hor text. And then I'm going to say max horizontal. That's not how to type that. Max horizontal slots. That means that this is my max hor slider. I'm going to leave that as is with the values. Max hor slider, yeah, and that is going to start off independently of our save, so that's going to change later. Then we're going to do max hor min text, max hor current text, and finally max hor max text. Once you have this, we are going to get our horbox 1. I'm going to duplicate our horbox 1. Now this is going to be our horbox 2. And here we're going to change out some stuff. So this is going to be our vert pad size box. Vert pad box. Vert pad text. And that's going to be vertical padding. Vert pad slider. Now vert pad slider is different from the other one. So we want to do a minimum value of 0. I'm going to do a value of 1.5. Actually, I should do a value of 1. And the max value I'm going to do is 10. The step size, let us do that still as 1. And let us do mouse user step. Yeah. I think we might go back to this later, but it should be fine. Vert pad slider, and then we need our vert pad min text. We also need to change that text in a minute. So our vert pad current text, vert pad max text. So our vertical padding is 10 in the max. It is current is 1. Yeah, current is 1. And then the minimum is 0. Web pad is now completed. Now we can get this other one, and this is going to be our horror pad size box. No, wait. Horror pad horror box, then horror pad size box, horror pad text, which is going to be horizontal padding. Should have copied the vertical padding to be fair, and that is exactly what we do. So we're going to delete our horizontal padding like so, and then we're going to duplicate our vert pads because that already has some of the stuff set up for us. Horror pad horror box, horror pad vert box, horror pad text, change the text to horizontal padding, horror pad slider. Now I'm gonna leave the values as is here as well for now. Horror pad min text, horror pad current text, horror pad max text. That is it for our horror box 2. Now we are going to have a third one, so duplicate that and get your horror box 3. Open it up, and now we need a slot op horror box, slot opacity, slot op vert box, slot op text. That's going to be slot opacity, slot op slider. Now slot op slider, we're going to do a value of 1, minimum is 0.01, and the max value is, well, we could actually do 0, and then the max value is 1. The step size of this is going to be 0.01. Mouse does not use step size, I believe. I do not believe that we want that here. So let's make this to represent it. So that means that this is going to be a 1, and the current is 1. So that is fine. Slot opacity slider, slot op min text, slot op max text, no, current, sorry. Slot op max text, like so. And our final one is scale, so scale, horror box, scale, vert box, scale text, scale, now scale text, scale, or slider, rather, let's get to that now. Scale slider, that is going to use different again, so we're going to use a value of 1, minimum value is going to be 0.1, the maximum value is going to be 2, and the step size is going to be 0.1. We are going to use the step on the mouse. I think we're going to use that here as well, so let's add that. So that means that this is going to be a 2, and we are currently at 1, and the minimum is 0.1. So it's going to be like so. This does not line up. You can figure this out. It's widgets. I hate widgets. I might fix it later though, fuck it. Scale min text, scale current text, and then scale max text. Now let us just get this into our HUD and stuff like that, and then we're going to call it a night. Now the very first thing we need is in our graph. We need to make it a variable. We're going to call it our HUD ref, WBP HUD, and that is it. And we're going to open up our HUD, WBP HUD. We're going to add our Actionbar settings. Size that to content. I'm going to move it in the middle like so, and it's going to be hidden. Over on my third person character, I have our toggle inventory. I'm going to duplicate it. This is going to be my toggle action bar settings. You'd probably have this in a bar, in a button or something when you escape and settings and stuff like that. I'm just going to do escape and then directly into the settings. So now we just need, out of our HUD ref, we need to get our action bar settings instead of our inventory, and we just need to copy and move those out. So Instead of inventory, it's going to be our action bar. Again, instead of inventory, action bar. And finally, now I'm just going to call it, go into your event graph. I'm going to do a keyboard escape to toggle my action bar settings. Go into your HUD, into your graph, and let us go into your event graph. On our HUD refs here, we are going to get our action bar settings. Set HUD ref, and like so, and like so. Now if we play, you can now hit escape. Now you have your action bar settings window here. Nothing actually worked, but it is there and it is ready to be used. Okay, in the next episode, we are probably going to add some functionality to that, and we'll see how far we get because it might be a little bit too long. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.